Hello, everyone. We're going to talk about the life cycle in fragments. All right, so we will discuss fragments in detail in the following videos. Um, we're not going to go into too much detail about fragments in this particular video. We just want to talk about life cycles in fragment first. Okay, so just a little bit of information about fragments. Right, so fragments are presented to the developer after API level 11. Fragments are basically a user interface that works in the activity. We can define fragments as small activity particles, right? So fragments are the more useful and more dynamic user interfaces. And because of that, developers prefer using fragments. For example, you can create fragments as much as you want, one activity. Also, you can use one fragment in more than one activity. And you know what? I think that's enough right now about fragments. It gives you a little bit of a taste, right? So we got to continue with the life cycles because that's what we got to do. So fragments, right, have their own life cycle. So that means a fragment has a life cycle from the moment it was created to the moment it was closed. We're going to talk about this particular life cycle right now. So when a fragment first starts, these three methods start to work. On attach, on create view. After that, these three methods start to work. On view created, on start, on resume. Now, with the on resume method, the fragment continues to work. When the fragment closes, these methods start to work. On pause, on stop, on destroy view, on destroy, on detach. Also, there are these milestones. If you start again a particular fragment, after the onStop method, it will begin from the onStart method. Now, if you start again after the onDestroyView method, it's going to begin from the onCreateView method. You follow? So after the onDetach method, the fragment closed completely. All right, so we've talked about these algorithm milestones in previous videos, and now I want to show these methods in Android Studio. So first, I'm creating a new project. I'll click on the File tab in the upper left corner, and then I'll click on the New Project. Cool. So after selecting Empty Activity from the page that opens, I'm going to click the Next button, and I'll just pick a name out of a hat, and I'm going to name this project Fragment Lifecycle. Of course, you can name it whatever you want. The package name will be shown just like it is here. Now, I do not change the location where the project's going to be saved, but if you want to, just keep track of it. Change the location, and you can do that just by clicking here. Okay, so the minimum SDK can be API 21. All right, so finally, we're going to start creating our project just by clicking on the Finish button. Right, so our project's currently being created. It just takes a moment. Okay, my friend, so as you can see, our project's created. So first, we got to open the activity main.xml page. By clicking the eye icon here, I'll choose the Show System UI option. All right, so the design area will look like a phone screen. Natch. So let's delete the text view component here. I've completely emptied my design area. Now I want to show you how to create a fragment, okay? So for the fragment, we'll need to create a design file and a class. And then we need to define this fragment class in the main activity or in which activity we want to show the fragment, in, right? So therefore, first of all, I'm just going to create a design file. And I will go to the Layout folder, right-click the Layout folder, and select New Layout Resource File. All right, so after that, I can give a name to the layout file. And my name here is going to be Fragment New. I'm going to click OK. All right, so layout's created. I'll add a text view to this layout. Now I want to change the background color. And the background color can be dark red. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to take this text view and bring it to the center. I will change the text of this text view. And I'm going to write, this is a new fragment. Also, I want to change the text size, the text color of this text view. The size can be 24 SP. Text color can be white. Okay, so now we can see this fragment comfortably. So after that, I need to create a class for this fragment. I'll right-click on the main activity class and select New Java class. Now I just need to give this class a name. Name can be Fragment Example. Now that that's done, this class will need to extend Fragment class. And then after this, I'll need to add a method in the class. So this method is onCreateView method. When I select this method, Android Studio will take care of the rest. And now that that's done, I'll need to change this return part. So this method will inflate our fragment. And I'll write here, return inflator.inflate. And this inflate method will take on 3 parameters. The first one is fragment layout name, and I'll just write that here. r.layout. And I'll write here the layout name. Name is fragment new. Second parameter is container, and this is a constant. And the third one is false. All right, so now the fragment class is ready. Now I'll just need to add this fragment to the main activity. So we'll open the activity main.xml file. You see, there is a component in which we can view the fragment design that we have created. The name of the component is Fragment Container View. You can always find this component in the Containers section of the palette. So I'm going to drag the Fragment Container View from the palette, drop it in here, and after that, a window is going to open up. Yep. And I will select here, Fragment Example, as my class, and click OK. OK? OK. Now, the fragment is added to the main activity. So I will change the sizes of this component. Layout height, layout width can be 300 dp. Yeah, also I'm going to center this component. Now, the fragment is ready, so let's run it and see. All right, so there you go. You see how the fragment's ready, and of course, this is just the simplest of fragments. Yeah, of course, we're not going to use it like this. Just put a fragment in the activity and leave it like this, okay? Fragments aren't usually like this. I just wanted to show you how to create a simple fragment because in this video, remember, we just wanted to see the fragment lifecycle, not how to use fragments in your project. Anyway, so after all that, we can now see which methods work in the fragment lifecycle. Where will I write the lifecycle methods? But of course, in the fragment class. So I'm going to create another lifecycle method in the fragment example class. And I'll first call the onAttach method. And we can add some other methods together. Second, I will call the onCreate method. Third is the onCreateView method, right? We already created this. The fourth, onViewCreated. The fifth, onStart. The sixth, onResume. after the onResume function, the fragment will run, right? So the 7th on pause, the 8th on stop, the 9th on destroy view, 10th on destroy, and the last function is on detach. All right, so I added all these methods in the fragment lifecycle. Now, after that, I'll just need to add log records in these methods because I do want to see which method works, when and where, right? So log.I, and it takes 2 parameters. The first one is the title. Yeah, and I'll write fragment for the title. Second one is the message, which method works. I'll want to write the name of the method in the message, right? So I'll copy this log record line and paste it into the other methods. So after that, I'll change the messages. So for the onCreate method, I will write in the message onCreate. Right? For the onCreateView method, I'll write onCreateView. For the onViewCreated method, onViewCreated. And of course, it'll be the same for the rest. On start method, I'll just write on start. For the onResume method, I can write onResume. On pause method gets on pause. And for the onStop method, I'll write onStop. For the onDestroyView method, I'll write onDestroyView. For the onDestroy method, I will just write onDestroy. And for the onDetach method, I'll write onDetach. So now I can track records here, right? I'm not going to select debug anymore. I'll just select info because the letter I is shortened to stand for info. So there you go. Also, I want to be able to filter records with the fragment keyword. So I'll write fragment into the search bar. See, now I can run the application. And my friends, what you can see here when the application first opens, on attach, on create view, on view created, on start, and on resume methods all work. So until this fragment's created, right, these 6 methods work. And we can see this on the algorithm. So if I close the application, on pause, on stop, on destroy view, on destroy, and on detach methods will work. Now, if I open the application again, these methods, of course, will work again. I say of course, but you might not know. Now, this is the caveat here. It doesn't mean that other methods do not work in the main activity, right? They'll also continue to work. When we open the application, the main activity is created, and then after that, the fragment is created. So let's have a look in practice, all right? So let's just open up an old project, and I will copy the log records that we wrote in the main activity and paste them into the main activity in my new project, right? You see what we're doing? So that way we can follow the life cycles of both the activity and the fragment at the same time. Pretty cool. Okay, so now we can see the main activity log records in the logcat screen. But here I got to select the debug log records because we use the log.d in the main activity. And also I'm going to delete the fragment keyword in the search bar. And here I'll just write message. All right, so let's run the application again. And there you can see, when I run the application, activity lifecycle methods work. And now, if I change the debug to info. And also I got to write the message keyword instead of fragment. Okay, see, the fragment lifecycle methods also work at the same time. All right, so you can see these methods in detail for yourself. You just need to play around a little bit. You can change these log records and see all of the methods together. That's pretty much up to you. But in any event, that's enough for this video, don't you think? That is pretty much all I want to tell you about the life cycle of fragments. So I'll see you in the next video.